Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is episode number 4 of Hooked on Murder. So Hooked on Murder is essentially a crochet and chat with a true crime twist. So just grab you something to work on. I'm working on a solid granny square for my 3D granny blankets. And grab yourself something to drink. I'm outside today. It's nice and cool. The wind has kind of died down a little bit. I may have to pause you if a train comes because it'll be too loud. But today we are going to travel back to 2015 and go to Bardstown, Kentucky and talk about the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. So Crystal Rogers was officially reported missing on July the 5th of 2015. The last time anyone has seen Crystal Rogers alive was on July the 3rd, 2015. So her boyfriend, who she lived with at the time, said that he went to bed and that Crystal was on the couch playing video games on her phone when he went to bed. The next morning on July the 4th, he wakes up, Crystal is missing, and so is her car from the driveway. So at this point, he does nothing. He doesn't call her family. He doesn't call the police. Nothing. Now, Crystal is 35 years old at the time of her disappearance, and she has 5 children. She has one 2-year-old son with her live-in boyfriend, Brooks Houck, and she has 4 other children from a previous marriage, and they all live, there. So it's kind of odd that mom is missing and you don't call anybody, you don't call to see what's going on. So Crystal's mom, Sherry Ballard, gets a text from Crystal's oldest daughter asking her if she's seen her mom, if she has talked to Crystal, and that she's unable to get a hold of her. So Sherry text message Crystal and is like, hey, you need to call your daughter. She's looking for you. Sherry calls Crystal's phone and gets no answer. So this is all day long on the 4th of July. So the next day, Sherry receives another phone call from her granddaughter saying that she still hasn't been able to talk to Crystal. So at this point, Sherry is beyond concern and she's like, something's wrong. We have got to go and report Crystal missing. So they go to the police station to report Crystal missing. So Sherry officially reports her missing on July the 5th. So while they are at the police station, that would be Sherry Ballard, Tommy Ballard, and Casey Ballard. So that's Crystal's mother, Sherry, her father, Tommy, and her brother, Casey. So while the family is at the police station, this cat is like running back and forth and it's getting me all messed up. While they are at the police station, there's a train coming, so we're going to pause right now. So while they're at the police station, a family member comes in and says, hey, I just seen past Crystal's car on the Bluegrass Parkway at the mile marker 14. So Tommy and Casey get in their vehicle and they rush out to the BG Parkway to see, what's going on with Crystal's car. So when they arrive at the car, they notice that the keys are still in the ignition. Her purse and cell phone are on the front passenger seat. The doors are unlocked. One of the rear tires is low on air. It's not completely flat, it's just low. And Casey says that he noticed something odd about the seat position of the car. So Crystal is a tall gal. She's like 5'9", and she's like tall and slim. She's 5'9", 150, and blonde hair. That's her description. Blue eyes. But he said that she rode in her car like different than most people. Even though that she was tall, she would scoot the seat forward more and lean the back part back more, and like she would always like hike her leg up and like prop it up on the door somehow. So he said that when he noticed the position of the seat, it was let all the way back and the seat part was straight up and down. He said that he knew that Crystal had not drove that car to the destination where it had arrived at, that he felt someone else put the car there. So the police did come and they searched like in the immediate area, and they impounded the car and took it away. And at this point in time, the family like kicked in high gear. They started organizing searches. They started putting the word out. Have you seen Crystal? Where's Crystal? So let's fast forward to July the 8th. The police call boyfriend Brooks Houck down to the police station to ask him some, questions, since he was the last person to see Crystal alive. He comes down to the police station, and it's pretty much like a mundane police interview. They're asking him about their relationship and all of that stuff. And mid-interview, Brooks receives a phone call from his brother Nick Houck. Now, Nick is a police officer for the Bardstown Police Department, and his brother is being questioned by the sheriff's department. So Nick, the police officer, tells his brother Brooks to stop answering questions, to no longer speak to the police, and to leave. So Brooks does exactly what his brother tells him to do. And the police that are investigating her disappearance find that to be odd behavior coming from Nick, seeing as he is a police officer who does this kind of work. So the sheriff's department contacts the Bardstown police and let them know that they feel that Nick is hindering their investigation. And they decide they want to speak to Nick himself. So they call Nick in for questioning and ask him if he would take a polygraph test, and he agrees to take the test. So while he's taking the test, they don't really say if he failed or passed, just that they had some concerns about some of the answers to some of his questions. So due to his lack of lack of answering questions for the police when the police were questioning him, and for him like stonewalling when it comes to his brother, the Bardstown Police Department let him go because of his involvement in this investigation, his negative, I guess, involvement in this investigation. So the police at this point don't really have a whole lot to go on. They've got Crystal missing. They have her car. They have, suspicious boyfriend and an even more suspicious brother of the boyfriend. So Crystal's father, Tommy, probably was like the spearhead of any investigation when it came to her disappearance. He was like an investigator. He started taking notes. He started questioning people. He started like receiving tips from people out in the community, and he would, you know, pass those along to the police as well. But he would also investigate stuff himself. He would organize searches. Like, there were tons and tons and tons of searches for Crystal. At one point, the police became suspicious of a white Buick car that was owned by the Houck's grandmother, Anna. She also owns a farm. Like, the Houcks have a family farm. These birds are really loud. They have a family farm. So the police really wanted to check out this white Buick, and they go to question the grandmother, and the Buick is gone. She sold it like a week after Crystal's disappearance, and they were unable to test the Buick. They wanted to do forensic testing on it. They also wanted to search the Houck family farm. I couldn't find any information as if they did search it or not. So we're going to fast forward to a year later. Crystal is still missing. The family still doesn't know what's going on. And the boyfriend is a major douchebag. He refuses to help search for Crystal. He refuses to talk to the family. I'm even going to just guess at the fact that since he has custody of the little boy, that he's probably not even letting Crystal's youngest child have anything to do with her side of the family. I'm just gonna assume that, just because he was so douchey about everything else. So the family majorly suspect Brooks and Nick Houck for the disappearance of their daughter, Crystal. So on November, I think 15th, 2016, it was November of 2016, so we're like a year later, year and some months. Tommy Ballard, which is Crystal's father, Casey Ballard, which is Crystal's brother, and Casey's son and one of Crystal's sons go on a hunting trip. Now, Tommy Ballard owns a piece of land that is adjacent to the Bluegrass Parkway. This land is like a farm type land that they've hunted for like 15 years or so. It's like some years. So Tommy and Crystal's son go off in one direction, and it's the piece of land that is adjacent to like the parkway, and Casey and his son go on a different side of the farm. Casey said that morning him and his son hadn't even it was still dark outside. Him and his son hadn't even gotten out of the truck yet, and he hears a gunshot. And then he gets a frantic phone call from Crystal's son saying Papa's been shot. So Casey tells him, just stay right there, I'm on my way. So he's like racing across the farm to get to his dad. And during this time, Crystal's son calls Sherry and says Papa's been shot. So Sherry, you know, gets in her car, is racing out to the farm. And when they get there, Tommy Ballard dies from his wounds. He was shot in the chest. So the police cleared everybody that was at the scene, the two grandsons and Casey, and they also cleared that he couldn't have shot himself, that Tommy couldn't have shot himself. So they did, while investigating, they found in the land that's adjacent to the parkway is like a row of trees and like brush, and like so that you can't see from the parkway over into the farm. So someone had cut the tree branches and shrubs enough to make like a little clearing that they would be able to drive up into and sit and watch and wait for someone to walk past. So the weird thing about the situation is almost like a year apart. So this is November of 2016, and Crystal went missing the previous year in July of 2015. The police don't think that there's any connection between the two. The family believes that Tommy was murdered because he was the driving force behind all of the searches for Crystal, and that he was relentless, that he wanted to know what happened to his daughter, and he was going to keep on pushing every single day until he found answers. The family think that it was a message and that they needed to stop, and that if Tommy was dead, that the family would stop investigating and it would just quietly all go away. Casey says that he promised his father in that field that day that he would never stop looking for Crystal, that he would look for her until, his dying day. So, here we are in 2022. Crystal is still missing. Sherry still does not know where her daughter is. Tommy's murder is unsolved. They do not know who killed him. And the only new developments that have occurred is, I believe in 2021, there was a search of a housing development, but nothing was released to the public about any findings or anything. So what's weird about Bardstown is they have like four unsolved murders and one unsolved disappearance that all happened in a 4-year span. So in 2013, a Bardstown police officer named Jason Ellis was murdered. He was leaving his shift and going home for the night, and it was like in the real early morning hours. He takes an off-ramp of the Bluegrass Parkway, and there is some brush and debris in the road. When he gets out to move the brush and debris, he's shot. So it was an ambush. Someone had placed that stuff in the road, knowing that he would stop to move it, and they were up on like a little hill, like a little grassy hill, waiting for him. His murder is still unsolved. In 2014, a mother and a daughter were murdered in their home. I can't remember their names. I will insert it. They were murdered in their home. No one knows who done it. No one knows why anyone would murder the woman and her daughter. In 2015, Crystal Rogers goes missing. And then in 2016, her father, Tommy Ballard, is murdered. The police do not believe that any of these murders and disappearances are connected in any way. They think that they're all separate. So if they think that they're separate, then they're probably investigating them separately. And there are a few podcasts about the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. There's even like a little mini series, I think Peacock, it's on Peacock, that you can watch. I think it's like 6 episodes or so, where they talk about Crystal's disappearance and like the murders, Jason Ellis and Tommy Ballard, and the mother and the daughter. It's such a weird thing because Bardstown is not very big. I had never been to Bardstown. I'd heard of it, but I'd never been to it. Last year when I went to Orange Beach, we did drive the Bluegrass Parkway, and I did see signs asking, have you seen Crystal and stuff. So I feel real bad for her mother, Sherry Ballard. I mean, her family's been torn apart by this. Crystal had a brother and a sister, so they're obviously devastated about it. And they lost their sister and their father. And then Crystal had 5 children who lost their mother. It's just such a sad, sad thing. So tell me, what do you think? I personally believe that the boyfriend had something to do with it. I mean, 9 times out of 10 in cases like this, it's generally someone that you know who has harmed you. There's not a lot of instances. I mean, it happens, but not a lot of instances where just some random person just murders you for no reason. Generally, there's a reason. So, what are your all's thoughts after hearing the story of Crystal's disappearance? Do you think that Brooks had something to do with it? Do you think maybe they got into a fight on the night of the 3rd, and him and the brother maybe disposed of her body on their family farm? Do you think maybe she was driving down the parkway and got a flat tire? Which the brother does tell a story in that miniseries. I watched it a long time ago when it first came out. That Crystal had actually in the past gotten a flat tire on that same stretch of the parkway, and he said that she drove on that flat tire, drove on the rim, like ruined the rim, because she wouldn't stop because she didn't feel safe. So do you think Crystal stopped because she got a flat tire, maybe a warning in her vehicle, or she could feel that it wasn't driving right and somebody came up and abducted her and kidnapped her that way? This was another sad one, which they all are sad and everything, but it's like just so interesting to hear these stories. But that's all I've got tonight. It's getting quite dark outside. It's about like, I'd say we're going on like 10 p.m. here. It stays pretty light up here. That's one of the things I like about summertime, is like it stays light very late. I really like that. So I got quite a bit done on my square. I had 4 rows already finished when I started, because those are the counting rows. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I got 6 rows done. So I got 2 complete rows. Well, there's a train, so I'm going to go ahead and end it tonight, guys. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.